Said it's waiting. Okay, I don't know what else. It says I'm connected.
Now,
Oh,
I
there we go.
know.
Waiting.
Now, do you have to record inside of Google? Because I know that we do at Movie the Podcast. We actually have to hit a record button. But I
Uh,
guess I maybe not if we're going live because I think I think it records it straight to
you know what?
YouTube.
I hit start recording anyway. I don't know where it's going, but
Well, that's fine.
let's do it. Hey, TJ, guess what?
Hey,
We're live on
we got
YouTube.
we're live. We're live coming at you. It's funny. Chris. I've been podcasting for like longer than most people have been on the fucking internet. Uh, and it's always funny because I always make the joke about being live, but it's a joke because I'm never actually live. So now we actually are, and it's weird. I don't know how to feel about it, but I'm excited. I'm excited. We have basically a new format. We are unbridled,
Unhinged. We are
unhinged.
unhinged.
We are off the rails compared to the rigidness of how we used to record the show. So I'm very excited. I am also excited to tell you that this is the Dead Air Horror Review Show, and this week we have. I'm going to bury the lead. One of my all-time favorite movies, Peter Jackson's Braindead, aka Dead Alive.
So
Um,
good.
I didn't know until literally this viewing of the film the reason why this movie couldn't be called Brain Dead over here, because there's another movie that has an amazing cover that I need to watch. Did you happen to Google Brain Dead and see the movie that came back?
I
It's
googled Brain Dead and Dead Alive, and I found those awesome Ghanese posters.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. I
love
love
those.
those. I
And you
love
know how much
those.
those are going for?
Oh, a fortune, I'm sure.
Like 450, $500 a
Yeah,
piece.
it's insane.
If I
Yeah, and
had
they
disposable
probably
income
they
like
were
that,
commissioned.
yeah,
Yeah, they were commissioned for like a buck. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, um, but no, like I highly implore you and the audience to look up this other movie that's called Brain Dead, and the cover is just this like face that's cut off. It looks amazing. Like I've never seen it, but I gotta watch it. But that is the reason why this movie is called Dead Alive, which uh terrible title, by the way. Brain Dead is a much better title. Dead Alive is not a very good title. I don't like it
No.
at
It
all.
sounds like a
And it's
mistake, doesn't it?
yeah, and last week, or excuse me, not last week. I can't even remember. Maybe it was last week. When did we do the year-end show? Last week?
We did it
Uh
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Because our new episode just dropped today of Bad Taste, another
Yes, yes,
Peter
yes.
Jackson's first film,
Yeah.
which we both absolutely loved.
Oh, it was incredible. So, but in our year-end review, we were talking about Time Crimes, and Time
All
Crimes
right.
is a movie that I passed over because of its terrible cover and bad title. And if you take a look at the American cover that Chris has up right now of Dead Alive, this is another movie that I skipped as a young, hungry horror fan in my young preteens. I mean, I rented like every horror movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I skipped over this a million times because it looked stupid. It looked goofy as
Yeah.
hell. And you got to understand back then, and even now to a certain extent, if I look at a cover and it doesn't grab me, I'm just like, eh. And
Look,
I didn't watch
did that
Brain
scene
Dead.
even like? There is a scene that was remotely similar to
Similar.
this,
The baby
but
scene is kind of similar to that.
I don't even know if this actor was in the film.
Oh no, 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 I don't think so.
um,
Um, the thing is that I didn't watch Dead Alive or Brain Dead. I didn't watch it until I was probably like post high school, I think, or maybe during high school. But it was again like I talked about on the last episode. I had this. It was a bootleg VHS tape, of the uncut version. Um, for those of you listening at home or watching on YouTube, you can actually find the uncut film on YouTube for free.
yeah.
Just Google it.
Guess
I
what,
don't know.
TJ?
It's
Guess
one of those
what?
things.
We got it right here.
Hell yeah. Um, but you've seen this before, right, Chris? This isn't your
So,
first viewing.
you know what, TJ? I'm glad you asked because
I
I was having major deja vu moments throughout this entire film,
yeah.
and I don't know if you can verify this. You have such your memory is like a steel trap. You remember things that I never could. But
That's incredible. Only about the most
the things that matter
inconsequential
to me.
minutia. Yes, yes.
I remember this now. Whether this actually happened or not, I seem to remember this happening where I watched this as a very young kid on Creature Feature on Sundays or Saturdays. I don't know if you remember Creature Feature.
Of course, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
I feel like this came on, but this may be that Mandela effect.
Hold
Is
on.
that our YouTube playing
No,
back?
my YouTube is I forgot. I was worried it was going to do. I needed to mute the YouTube that I had up. Um, and it's weird because I guess folks we're learning this as we go.
Yeah,
So we are live, but apparently on YouTube there is a slight delay
there
from
is.
what we're. So anyway, but no, to answer your question, it's possible, but I would think it would be a very edited version because this I can't imagine this being on regular TV because
No.
even like whereas like I don't know what they I didn't do any research into seeing what how the American cut is compared to the international cut, but I think even edited, this movie is just so violent and disgusting. And
Yeah.
again, much like in the same way that Bad Taste is violent, like in a cartoonish way, like so is this.
Oh,
But
he
this
upped
is
it.
like,
He upped the
but this
ante
is
like
so
like a
disgusting.
thousandfold with this
Yeah,
one.
this is so disgusting. There's so many scenes like Peter Jackson. I think the reason that I love him and this movie, at least this era of him, so much is that like we said again, I'm going to repeat a lot of the same talking points we had with Braindead, but I think these two movies are very similar. You can tell that he was just having the fucking time of his life.
Yeah.
Like, and if there was any moment that like it could have been more disgusting, he's like, yeah, let's do that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the mom is first of all the mom in this movie is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I love her and I love her acting. I love how like overly dramatic she is
Yeah.
and like it's and then the poor when she gets turned into a zombie and her the choice, oh god, yeah, this is a little later in the movie. But the choice to like have her still be like able to speak as a
Oh,
zombie
yes.
and she's like it is
Here we go.
this is a great part where she's trying to get dressed up for her what was it, like
the women's league
society of ladies or something.
Yeah.
And her face, she's actively she's facing necrosis or whatever you call it. She's turning into a zombie, but she's trying to look her best.
And like a good son, he's trying to glue her face back together with rubber
Leonard,
cement.
is that his name? Leonard?
You know I'm terrible with names.
I already
Let's
forgot
just
his
say
name.
yes. All right,
But,
here we go. Here's the scene that.
This scene is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
If you could just fast forward it just a little to the part where the custard comes out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is.
Also, pause it real quick. What is the difference between pudding and custard? Because he gets first of all, this dude, by the way, there's so many great performances in this movie. Like, this fucking guy kills me because he's, first of all, like, I love this scene because the wife is like the whole time is like, what the fuck is going on?
She is so grossed out, but yet she says nothing.
Well, but she's like freaked out.
Yeah.
And this also it's funny because this movie doesn't go out of its way to tell you this, but this movie is a period piece. This movie takes place in 1957, I think it is. So part of the reason why she probably doesn't want to say anything is because of the patriarchy. And she's, you know what I mean? She's supposed to be a polite woman of society, so you're not supposed to make a big scene. Thank you, Biden. Thank you, patriarchy. But anyway, Biden was what, around like 34 in 1957? Anyway, sorry. So anyway, the wife is freaking out the whole time and wants to get the fuck out of there. right before the pudding comes out, the mother literally grabs the steak off of her plate and
It's
eats
just
it with
eating
her
it.
fucking bare hands. But the husband is oblivious the entire time, and he's just like Leonard is trying to like shuffle them away, and she's like, or the wife is trying to get away, and he's like, "What? No dessert, no
Yeah,
pudding."
he was so
And
offended that somebody wouldn't offer him dessert, but
the
was so
fucking
excited when the custard came out.
bro, this dude, like, I want to be as excited for anything in my life as this guy with custard, but he is disappointed because he wants pudding, and then he's disappointed that he gets custard, and I'm like, what the fuck is the difference between pudding and custard? Anyway, continue.
All right.
So he gets his custard,
Okay.
and
Should,
this,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, should we play it through?
Yeah, let it go. Let it go
Okay.
for a
Yeah,
few seconds.
it's worthy of everyone else viewing.
Yeah, I mean, again, also the
The sniffing of the custard.
he's a fucking a custard sommelier over here.
Oh,
And then
here it comes. There it goes.
There we go. Yeah. The mother decides to like venom shoot her fucking zombie blood into the custard. Okay. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, that's pretty fucking disgusting. Then he's like, man, this custard's fucking awesome. And you can't hear him, but he's like, rich and creamy, just the way I like it. Oh, and this is the again the acceleration of, you think this is disgusting? Well, now the mother is going to eat her own ear, which
I did feel a little queasy when I saw this.
It's absolutely repugnant. Like, it's so gross. But I love it. I mean, it's hilarious. Also, the son is just, I love him in this movie so much because he's just desperately trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But the situation just gets worse and worse and worse. And I never really put this together until this viewing of the movie. But, like, I think that you're familiar with The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, of course.
There was a very famous plot point in the show and in the comics where, I can't think of the character's name right now, but the guy that lives on the farm, who's keeping all the zombies in the barn, and they didn't find it out. It was like a big deal when all the zombies got out of the barn. But I think that is a more serious nod to like the situation that this character finds himself in, where he keeps jamming the zombies in his basement because he doesn't know what else to fucking do with them. And later on in this movie, when he's trying to mitigate the situation as best as he can, he's running around with this syringe full of sedative that he always jabs them in the eye, which is like the funniest thing. Like,
no,
like,
he gets his mom up the nose every single time. Yeah. Like a skilled marksman, he never misses.
It's so fun. This movie is so fucking funny and just over the top. And I think last week we talked about how, childish, but in like the best way possible, Bad Taste was.
Yeah.
Like, this is like that, but it's also kind of, again, it's a period piece in the 50s. And if you watch stuff from the 50s, it has that kind of super, what's the word? Like, idealized kind of society, like Leave It to Beaver kind of stuff. And I feel like this movie is that silly, but also has that air of like, it's this very kind of like, everything is very like whimsical, and everybody kind of like, there's like a certain air about this movie, a vibe, if you will, that I love. Like, again, it feels like they took, Ozzie and Harriet or My Three Sons or whatever, name your old ass TV show, and then they threw like this ultra bloody, insane zombie plot on top of it, but it all works.
Yeah.
Like, because again, and it's something that I harp on all the fucking time, it's genuine. Like, it comes from a place of absolute, Lionel is his name. Did I say Lionel or Leonard? I said Leonard. Lionel is his name. But it comes from such a place of just pure joy that, like, it's infectious to watch. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
you just can't help but love it.
I mean,
Oh God.
I've never watched a Charlie Chaplin from start to finish, but I felt like Leonard encapsulated a modern
Oh,
day Charlie
oh
Chaplin
yeah,
with all
him
his
or like
slapstick, fall to the
yeah.
ground. Like in
That's a
the
that's a very good that's a great comparison actually. Yeah,
so,
100%.
so
Also, pause real quick
yeah,
because I just got to say this because you brought up Charlie Chapman and this really bothers me. So I don't know if you follow Letterboxd on Instagram
I know
or
you're
anything like
active on
that.
it, but I don't.
Well,
I,
no, Letterboxd has their own account, and they
oh,
always
okay.
interview like celebrities and they're like, what's your four favorite movies?" If I see another fucking person that's younger than me tell me their favorite one of their favorite movies is City Lights, like
Sit,
suck my balls, dude. It's a Charlie Chaplin movie and it's a good movie, but like you're 30 years old. There's no like your favorite movie is not City Lights. Anyway, continue.
um,
Get
so
the fuck out of here, City Lights.
this is a perfect example of our little modern day Charlie Chaplin doing his thing because when I saw this, I thought, I think this guy almost actually died. You know, this could have been, they might have almost had to find a replacement for this dude. I'll pull
I
it up
mean, I wouldn't be
now.
yeah.
Um, so it's like the opening scene, and I'll just play it through. He's intimidated by this woman who he's infatuated by, but she came on a little strong. Paquita. Watch
Yeah,
this.
Vegeta.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
Like,
that looks like very dangerous.
right? He almost
Yeah.
got nailed.
Yeah, that is like Jackie Chan level. Like, I don't know. Let's just like we need to shoot a scene where I jump on a trolley car. How do we shoot that? I don't know. Jump on a trolley car. Like, yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah,
And
and he
I
kind of
love it.
has uh, Ash from Evil Dead kind of vibe
I
too.
I agree. He reminds me a lot of an actor that came out much later, but Sharpo Copley, the guy from District 9, he's South African.
Mm-hmm.
He's in all the Neil Blomkamp movies.
Oh,
Like
okay, yeah,
he looks just like him.
yeah,
And the South African accent and the New Zealand accent always kind of remind me of one another. I know they're very different, but they always kind of
yeah.
remind me of the same thing. Also, the mother, by the way,
Oh,
10,
TJ
10
loves the
stars.
mother. I love her
She's
more at the end of the movie than I
bro.
do at the
She
beginning.
look at what she just did. She opens a fucking letter with a
Butcher
butcher's knife.
knife.
Like that shit rocks.
She is
Like,
brutal.
dude, she's so great. And then the weird ass reveal at the end of the movie that she
Oh,
like killed his dad and his dad's lover
oh
and
yeah,
left their
I got
corpses
it.
in the attic. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah, I gotta find that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, there's so you
Um,
can see as I'm scrubbing through, or maybe you
can
can't,
you
but
can you before you do that?
yeah,
I want to touch real quick because it's in the beginning of the movie, so it'd be easier to get there.
yeah,
I love the choice. I love how this movie opens,
yep.
like with the weird, like, and I mean, possibly problematic, like native tribe of Skull Island. Also,
Oh right.
Skull Island. Skull Island is the island that fucking King Kong lives on, and we all know Peter Jackson's a big King Kong fan. He eventually made a King Kong movie that I hated, but it's kind of cool that he put it on Skull Island. Like, that is a direct
Yeah,
King Kong reference.
reference. Yeah.
But I loved how this movie opens. Like, it is like right away. It's like boom. Like, this movie is insane.
Yeah.
And the when you finally get to see the monkey rat, I think they call it, and it's this weird stop motion like abomination. And I love the scene where they're at the zoo and it like rips the fucking other
Oh,
little monkey's like arm off, and then you got this like zookeeper guy that's like "Paul Baga," and he's like what the
with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth like a true badass.
yeah. Also, this guy telling this native tribe that he's got papers is fucking hilarious. He's like, I have permission for this. Fucking rock. And then he decides to he has a gun the entire time, by the way.
I thought
But
he slaughtered all of them at the beginning.
no, he
but it
shoots
was
in
just
the air,
warning
so he's
shots.
actually
Yeah.
yeah, he's actually quite polite in that respect.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
Great
But
guy.
anyway, this movie, the beginning is great though because he gets bit and then they chop all his fucking extremities off, and it's just, I loved it so much. I mean, and this is literally like the first like 2 minutes of the movie. Like this
Yeah,
is it grabs you immediately, and pacing in this movie is immaculate. Like this movie, it wastes no time. Like you will never get bored in this movie. This movie it is got a very simple plot. Some would say a thin plot, but it is propulsive. Like it just keeps going. And I think a really great sign of this movie is I feel like that the lead actor is very captivating and he has a lot of charisma.
yeah.
And also what's her name? Pochita? No, that's from
Paquita,
Chainsaw Man.
Paquita.
Paquita.
Uh huh.
Like both of them have good chemistry together, and
Yeah,
while their characters aren't like super deep, you feel for them because like I don't know, they work together really well in the movie. Like
yeah.
I wanted to see them survive. Like I thought they were both adorable. Uh
Well,
if
he's
I
such
had
a
one,
mama's boy. He's so weak,
yeah,
and you feel bad for him, like really bad. Like he
yeah,
needs to be in a relationship with a woman his own age, not like have the um,
yeah.
uh,
It,
uh, Smithers mother
yeah,
relationship.
Mr. Burns' relationship with your mom. Yeah, and I mean if I had one complaint, I feel like the movie,
Or
like at least
Skinner.
this
Sorry, we're gonna get skinned alive for that.
oh,
Skinner and his
Skinner.
mom.
Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. Yeah, Skinner and his mom, yeah. Uh Agnes means lamb,
Agnes.
lamb of God. Uh if anything, I think that the script kind of calls for both of them to be younger because I feel like it kind of works better if Lionel is like 20 years old, but maybe
Yeah.
he is. It's hard to tell with like older movies. I always feel like people look wildly older than they are. But also it's in the 50s, so everybody being kind of chaste and weird and non-sexual also kind of plays into that as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Uh, um,
That I mean that's the way they always describe it. I bet people were just as gross and eating ass in the 50s and all that stuff too.
I wanted to play that
But
scene that
there it
you were
is.
just referenced.
Yeah.
I
Look at
love the
this
stop
thing. It's
motion. It's so
awesome.
good.
Like that looks so great. And I love the fact that like this fucking abomination, they just put in a cage right next to regular animals. They're like, ah, it's fine. It
Pulls a
pulls the
little
monkey's
arm.
arm off.
Leonard is just enthralled.
Yeah,
He-
Leonard is not as horrified
And
as he probably should be.
these
But yeah,
monkeys in real life probably had, like, no joke, probably had PTSD after watching this.
and this motherfucker and his teeth, like his teeth are horrific. But
Get out
yeah,
of here!
I just love the use of stop motion out of fucking nowhere. And
Yeah.
I mean that'll lead me to my other absolute triumph of this movie. The visual effects are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the gore effects in this are so good and they're gross and like I just think like there's so many times in this movie, and again, it's like super low budget, but like the scene where the baby rips the
Oh,
fucking face
yes.
in half, like that looks
Yes.
fantastic, man. It looks so good. Or the scene where the one like punker zombie, his like guts fall out, but then his guts become like sentient. And it's
Yeah.
like his guts are like trying to fix its hair in the mirror. Like it's like, what is this? But it looks so good. Like they did such a good job with the effects. Or the nurse, for example, that gets her head cut off. So like her fucking every time he sees her, her head is literally like a Pez dispenser, like flapped up this way. But it looks so good. Like or even like little touches like when before they get completely disgusting and they just like have like the bloody faces and the white out eyes. Like it looks great.
Like, look at
Like
that when I forgot his name, but he chopped up all the body parts, and they just
oh
have a
the
huge.
uncle.
Look at this. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I love how ridiculous it is. Also, for some reason the mother turns into like a Resident Evil boss at
oh
the end of
yeah.
this
Oh,
movie.
oh, there it is. When he his head hit the other zombie, and then the whole body just exploded on contact.
Yeah, I mean it's just full of just amazing moments. Like I don't know, man. Like it's so every scene is just so full of creativity and just like perversion, like in like the best way possible. Like I don't I can't imagine like a movie like this being made nowadays, not because you couldn't make it. It's just like don't know, people don't want to have fun anymore. Like
Yeah.
everything is too fucking serious. Like there is stuff like there's a movie that I really like that came out a few years ago called Psycho Gorman,
Oh, that was
and
so good. Yeah.
the spirit of this kind of lives on in something like Psycho Gorman, because that's a movie that 1,000% does not take itself seriously at all, is very violent and over the top, and it kind of reminded me of this movie, like in a lot of different ways.
And the way it's shot
Um,
too, the way Peter Jackson shoots it, I feel like it's he took some uh, camera cues from Tim Burton. It's very
yeah,
Gonzo-esque. It's very in your face. It never stops. There's very
no,
few still shots.
he
It's
loves,
motion
yeah, I was
constantly.
gonna say he loves constant motion, and he loves like whip pans and a lot
Yes.
of like he likes a
Dutch
lot
angles
of,
where it's like up and in
yeah.
your face
I was gonna say like he's
like that.
definitely
Yeah.
influenced by uh like I would say Sam Raimi. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Raimi in this movie. Like Tim Burton. I think even like John Carpenter in a lot of ways. Like you can tell like you can see that he's like a very big lover of the genre, but also like puts his own mark on it. Like it's not like derivative at all. Like
Yeah.
I would never call this movie derivative of anything.
Like look
I
at
mean,
this.
look at what we're fucking looking at here. He like Lionel is literally falling back into his mother's zombified womb.
Right,
Like
so she
what
can
the
keep him
fuck is,
forever.
yeah, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like it's insane. Also, you're probably gonna have to censor that when you re-upload this
uh,
to TikTok or
never,
whatever.
never.
Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think I mean, what else is there to talk about? I mean, it's
Oh,
just so
there's
good.
um, the baby, of
Oh
course.
my god, the baby. The
So
baby's great.
the baby might have been my favorite part of the
I
entire
I love
movie.
I loved
Um,
it.
there was certain scenes which I'm gonna try to find, uh, where the baby wasn't actually. Well, so they had the prop baby, which was cute and small to scale, like an
Yeah,
actual
and
baby size.
then you
Then
had
they
a
do the
5 foot tall man. Yeah.
the cutaways with like the 5 foot tall little person who was just like running off. Like all you would see was like a back shot, and you could see like from behind
Yeah.
where the mask ended, and
Yeah.
like where the
It was
costume like where the
what
outfit started up top.
what I thought was hilarious is you have Peter Jackson, who would later become the master of force perspective because of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, because like none of, you know what I mean, he had to keep the hobbits a certain height. And I feel like he learned in this movie like how to not do force perspective, because like that baby, every time that baby walked away, it was like, oh, that's a grown ass man
Yeah.
walking away. But it made it like, again, the mistakes in the movie make it funnier, and like
Oh,
I don't, you know what I mean, like I love it. And I also like talking about his like his directorial style. Like I loved how fucking Looney Tunes this movie gets, like we just saw with like the baby getting kicked, and then you have the fucking camera fly back, and then he hits the wall and flies back forward,
yeah.
and then gets hit with a frying pan. Like
And then
it's just Looney.
the face imprint into the frying pan
Yeah,
was
it's Looney
awesome.
Tunes,
Yeah,
dude.
it
It's
is.
just fucking Looney Tunes. I love it. Or even that. Like, look at this shit.
Hits him in the nuts. Oh, come
Also,
on.
the uncle just keeps
Oh, here it
getting
is.
like,
Here it is. He's when he runs away.
yeah. Here we go.
Look.
The
Oh, that
uncle,
is amazing.
the uncle just keeps getting hit in the nuts. By the way, and it cracks me up every time.
Now,
Like,
what you
the,
people see behind us, this goes on for like a good 40 minutes, I think.
this is. I mean, conservatively, this is the last scene of the movie is 40% of the fucking movie, and it's
Yeah.
great. Like, it's just
Yeah.
this never-ending like bloodbath. Also, a wonderful piece of reincorporation, because he uses the penultimate weapon that kills them all is the
Oh,
lawnmower that he's
yes.
fixing in the beginning of the movie. Like it's great. Like it's brilliant. It's a
Um,
brilliant fucking movie. Also, a lawnmower as a zombie weapon, fantastic. Like it's awesome. I love it.
TJ, I'd
I
be
love
remiss if I didn't show
the
that scene. Hold on.
I love the amount of gore by the end of that scene. It's literally like it's
Yeah.
like feet of blood. Like it's ridiculous.
Here we go.
Also, wonderful use of like backlighting. It's very like, again, very Evil Dead, very old school horror. Like that is like perfect right there with the fog in the background and the blue lighting. Like, I mean, that just screams like
Also
classic
very
horror.
Tim Burton like, with the
Yeah,
use of, bright neon lighting.
I
Uh,
love it. I mean, I
yeah,
just love like I mean, just look at what we're seeing here. It's just fantastic. Like, it's just so
it's absurdly
over the
gross.
top, man.
Like,
It's
not,
just
I don't feel like I've seen anything that could actually compare to the amount of grossness that this has.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's movies
nothing
that are like gorier, but I don't know if there's movies
on
that are as
on
like
this level
over the
though.
top. Uh, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's like serious movies that are like grosser than this that are like, but it's grosser because like it's in a realistic context,
Yeah,
like much like something like a I don't know, like a Kill Bill, right? Like that movie's like very bloody, but like it's lessened and it's not as like impactful because it's like silly. And this is in the same way. I don't mean it as a pejorative at all. I'm just saying that like it's just so like they're humping. It's
I think
perfect.
they are too. Yeah,
It's just
nothing's going to
amazing.
stop
Like
them. Yeah,
I just love the idea that like he's just like, yeah, let's just like I can see like an assistant producer or like a second unit director being like, oh, I think we got enough gore out of this scene, and Peter
yeah.
Jackson's like, no, mate, do more. That's not a good New Zealand accent. He's like, more gore. Also, did you catch the slight Peter Jackson cameo in
I
this?
actually had that pulled up previously, and let
Because
me
he
see if
looked
I.
exactly like he did in Bad Taste. He looked
Yes,
like
he absolutely did.
what was his name? Derek.
Derek,
Derek's
Derek's
Don't
don't
Give Up.
run.
Yeah, he's in the like embalmer guys
Yeah,
uh
I think
embalmerium. I don't what's that word?
crematorium,
No, that's not it. Uh
moratorium,
we're getting close. Mortuary?
mortuary.
Morgue? I don't know.
One of those. Oh,
I
I
used to
think I
date
found it.
an embalmer. You think I'd know these things?
You used to date an embalmer, did you?
I did. Funeral director and embalmer. Yeah. Wow, indeed.
Wow.
She was great. Yeah, also
Oh, there we go.
uh
There he is.
there he is.
Same exact character.
Also, I love the fact that like he's like he doesn't really
He
seem that
grabbed his
broken up
sandwich
about
so
it.
it didn't get the
Yeah.
goo all over it. I think it still got the goo on it, but he ate it anyway.
He you know it's weird too, like Peter Jackson, like he looks very 2024 Zoomer with that like the haircut and
Yeah,
the like
he
the
was
shirt,
ahead of
like
his time.
yeah, he could fit in. Like he'd fit right in nowadays. Oh my god. I love this movie. I always am a little remiss to do reviews where I mean a long time ago on another show, I would actually actively tell the other people in the show that we couldn't review movies that I deemed too good,
Yeah,
because what I worry about is I worry about the Chris Farley thing. You remember the Chris Farley sketch where he would interview like a celebrity, like what's his name, the Beatles guy, Paul McCartney. There's
hmm.
a famous sketch where Chris Farley's like, "Hey, you remember the Beatles?"
Oh right.
Yeah, I remember the Beatles. I was in the Beatles. Like, that was great. And they just kind of sit there, and he goes, and like that's what I worry about when you like a movie too much. And I also know that by and large, the internet responds to negativity and not
Yeah,
to um, positivity, unfortunately. And that's not me being like a fucking miser. That's just the way it is. But I don't care. I mean, I love this movie. I think everyone, if you even have like an inkling of liking horror or slapstick, or I mean, you just got to watch this movie. It's also like super short. It's like just over an hour and a half. Like
yeah,
it does not overstay its welcome. It's very watchable. This and Bad Taste is a great double feature that I've done many times.
yeah. Save it for
Uh,
family night. Your kids
yeah,
will
I
your
mean,
kids will love you more because of it.
I mean, the funny thing is that like if you're gonna introduce like a child to a horror movie, like this isn't that bad. Like I know it's violent, but
Yeah,
like, is it
it's
that bad? It's
it's
not
over
like
the
I feel
top, silly, absurd.
there's like zero sexuality in this movie.
Yeah, except for those two
It,
humping zombies that we just saw.
which I didn't even
I
notice,
didn't
and
even
I've
catch
watched
the
this
first
movie
time.
probably 50 times. I've never noticed that before. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I am a huge fan of this movie, like, and always have been. Like,
Yeah.
this is another one that I've recommended to 1,000 people, and I love this movie to death. I also need to fix my lighting next week because I
I
look
th- I think it looks pretty
even
good.
more pale than I usually look.
But
Um,
that's
that's
our
my
signature.
aesthetic. It's my aesthetic to
I
look like
am as pale as that. It's just the lighting in here is a
I.
little different. I
I
got a warm light
oh, I
spraying the
see. I
wall over
see.
there.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
look like the main character from the movie Powder.
Oh,
Anybody?
there you
Powder.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's not actually. Don't watch it. It's terrible. Anything else we want to talk about,
I
Chris?
think just we should wrap it up with scores.
All right. You can do the honors. I feel like I have filibustered this episode, and I do apologize.
Um, you know, to what you were saying, like about not wanting to uh, like review movies that we absolutely love because
Yeah,
you know what the score is gonna be.
yeah.
Uh,
It's that's just it. And like, there's also like sometimes I will say that there have been times. Sorry, I just learned English. Where I've revisited a movie that I loved, and then I watch it, and I'm like, this isn't it. And that
yeah,
sometimes that's interesting, but no,
that's not the case
it
here.
holds up. This holds up just as much as it did when I was fucking 15. Like, this movie fucking rules. Like, I
If
love it so
anything, I
much.
would give Bad Taste a lower score now that I've seen this
Mm-hmm.
and know how if I remembered how great this movie was before I viewed it, I probably would have said to Bad Taste, maybe it would be like a 8 point something, because this is an absolute banger. This is 10. This is 10
Oh
all the
yeah,
way. Um,
yeah, 100%.
so I try my best to score these on a curve. I'm not going to go back and rescore Bad Taste,
No,
but
you can't go back.
you can't. Once it's
You
done,
can't
it's
go
done. I
back.
mean, the thumbnail's already up. It's got the score right there. I'm not redoing
Yeah.
it. Uh, absolute 10, no doubt.
Yep.
You're the same.
It's a 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a 10. 10.10. This is like, again, to me, this is, if there was a Mount Rushmore of classic horror movies, this is on it. I mean, this is without a doubt like one of the best, like, really genre movies like ever. Like, I think
yeah.
this movie is a fucking masterpiece of a masterpiece of a genre that like no one else wants to touch. Like, I can't even think of like a whole lot of movies that are contemporaries to this. There's a lot of like gross out movies,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of horror comedies, but there's not a lot where those two things intersect. And like a lot of the 80s like direct to video stuff that's kind of gross, it's not funny, and it tries to be funny. See Ghoulies 3 for that. That is a gross out movie that is not funny at all. But there's a lot of those. There was a lot of that stuff in the 80s. And I feel like it's very hard, much like something like Shaun of the Dead is a great comedy, a great zombie movie, and like a great drama. It's hard to put those things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is a time where Peter Jackson he was firing on all cylinders. The characters are lovable. It's funny. It's well written. It's well directed. Like, I think the direction's great. The VFX are great. It is insanely memorable. Like, you can, like, when are you ever gonna forget I kick ass for the Lord? Like, I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking insane. Like,
Yeah.
the things that happen in this movie are just fucking nuts. And it's just wholly original. Like, I don't, like, again, like, I think originality goes a long way, and there's nothing else like this. Like, it is a one of one, and it is a gem, and I love it to death.
I'll tell you, my
And
litmus test for how much I like a movie nowadays is not just how often do I turn off my phone to actually pay attention to the movie,
oh,
but
sure, yeah.
how quickly do I go to the internet and search for merchandise after
Oh
I
yeah.
watch it. Like, I want a T-shirt, I want a Christmas ornament, I
No,
want a
there's a
mug.
And there is a million things you can buy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, this is a very popular movie amongst like horror nerds. Like
Yeah.
this
I
is
can see why.
very, very popular, and it should be. It's great. If anything, this movie makes me upset for what Peter Jackson has become because he is sort of not what he used to be. And I don't know. I don't want to get into all the other
He
things
needs to
about
get
it,
back
but
to his roots.
well, he kind of I don't know if you followed any of the Hobbit stuff, but like he seems like he's kind of become shitty in his old age. Like
Really?
whatever. What are you gonna do? Who knows? I wasn't there.
Well, we
But
should bring him on the show and see how shitty he
yeah,
is.
let's give him a
Yeah,
call. Let's
let's
give him a
give him
call.
a chance.
The next week on the show, The Lonely Bones. That movie fucking sucks. That movie is terrible.
I can honestly say I've never seen it.
It's
But
real bad. Don't watch
I
it.
trust you.
I saw
And
it in the theater on a date.
oh, and
Yeah,
how did that date go?
bad.
Blame Peter Jackson.
She read the book and she
Really?
loved it, and I was like, "This is awful." Well, she loved the book. She didn't like the movie. It's like, yeah,
But
this
at least
is
she
not
had
good.
you.
Yeah,
You
not
bought
for
some
long.
snacks, right?
Not for long. Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, here's
Dinner too. I think we went to Chevy's. It was nice.
Oh shit!
Yeah, hell yeah.
What is
Uh,
Chevy's?
where is Chevy's or
What
what
is Chevy's? I always pass by them, but I never. I
It's
don't know.
a
Is that
they're a
Tex-Mex?
it's a Mexican chain.
Okay.
It's good as far as
I
like
would
chain
never guess
restaurants go.
a place called Chevy's is a Mexican chain.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird why it's that, but yeah. Anyway, shout out to Chevy's.
Yeah.
Sponsor the show so we can get some free get that corn mush that I like, that sweet corn cake crap that they give you.
Corn custard.
It actually is kind of custard
Yeah.
like, actually, as a matter of fact.
Corn custard.
Fine custard.
All right, so what
next
are we watching
week,
next week? Yeah, go for it.
I'm excited about this because this is a movie that I feel like I should have seen, but I've never seen it. It's Peter Jackson's The Frighteners. It's his last horror movie that he made before he made Lord of the Rings and became contemporary Peter Jackson. It stars Michael J. Fox, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've never seen it. And again, I believe it's a horror comedy, but like I said, I've heard, I think it came out in like the late 90s, but I've heard tons and tons of good stuff about it. So I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it. You haven't seen it
either.
either, right?
I have not.
Yeah.
Heard of it, seen the poster. I always recognize things by the posters, and
The poster
exactly
for The
why I didn't
Frighteners.
watch it, because I saw the poster. I'm like, this looks like it freaking sucks.
Yeah, it's actually oddly similar to the Dead Alive poster because it's just like a scary face.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and it's worth noting, since we're talking about early stage Peter Jackson. Originally, we were going to just watch his first 3 movies in order, and the next after this is Meet the Feebles. Actually, Meet the Feebles might have been before this. I don't know. But anyway,
I think it was right before this. It was sandwiched between this and Bad Taste.
Okay. Well, Meet the Feebles is something that is not a horror movie. It's the only reason we didn't watch it. But I highly recommend it. It is a dark, like, Muppets movie, basically. Like, it's, if you watch The Muppet Show treats the Muppets like they're actors, and the Muppet Show is like a stage production. Well, it's the same idea. All these puppets are like real live things, and they all have like horrific problems. And the one puppet has got PTSD from being in Vietnam, and he does heroin, and the one puppet is cheating on another puppet with another puppet. One puppet is literally a fly who's like paparazzi, who at one point is literally in a toilet eating shit with a spoon.
What? This looks...
It's incredible.
This looks amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know where you can watch it anymore, but it is funny as hell. Like, it is so fucking funny, and like, again, very disgusting, and just, I don't know, it's great. Also, I don't know, this might have just blown my fucking mind looking at the rat, but I'm pretty sure they used the same rat in the movie.
The Sumatran rat.
No. Have you seen Smoking Causes Coughing? It's a movie. It's incredible.
I've seen part of it. Yeah, that's all.
Well, that rat looks exactly like the rat, and
Yeah.
now you really need to censor
Okay.
this.
Whoop.
Oh yeah, there's lots of sex in it too. It's great. And we cut it off for the guy was tying off. That's the heroin addict puppet. With by the way, with Vietnam flashbacks, which are incredibly problematic, but
And
we
what's
won't get
going
to
on
that.
around the nose area? Is that
He's snotting because he's
Oh,
a drug
Jesus
addict.
Christ.
Yeah,
Should I just play
anyway.
that through? Yeah. Oh, wow.
I told you.
Why are we
amazing.
doing this one? Oh my god.
Oh, it's so good. I everybody that's watching, you need to watch Meet the Feebles if you haven't seen it. It is so funny. There is a song and dance production about sodomy, which is just so great. I can't recommend it enough. Anyway, but that's the show, I think, right?
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for this first live broadcast went off without a hitch, surprisingly. Yeah. And I think we're gonna do a lot more of these.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea of being able to do these this way. I feel like it's a lot more freeing. But hopefully, maybe we get some people in the chat.
Get in the chat. Come on, chat us up.
Yeah, get some poggers guys in the chat. I don't know. Like 50 years old. I don't know about no chat. We'll have to get our emotes and all that other bullshit. All right, well, that's a show.
Let's text our mothers. We'll text our mothers, and we'll see. My mom won't do it.
No, my mom doesn't even have a computer. I don't think. I don't even.
Right, yeah. Our moms aren't that supportive.
No. Oh.